What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video of my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over some basketball games for Friday, March 24th, 2023. I'm going to show you heights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And if for some reason you're curious to know who I'm picking in these games, you'll have to join my Patreon where my picks are always in writing, underlined, and italicized. For more information on that, please see the pinned comment in the comment section below. I wish you guys the best of luck on all your picks for this day, for these games. Let's go ahead and get into the games for this day. Looking at all four games. Here we go. All four games for March Madness, Sweet 16, Part 2. San Diego State, Alabama, Miami, Houston, Princeton, Creighton, Xavier, and Texas. I'm going to run through these four games really quickly. Not going to spend too much time on them. On this, let's get to the right date. On this side of the screen is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers, number specific to the game. The way I have it structured here is I have one team up top, their coach's record, their season record, their tournament record as a team, and any other notes that I want to add. In the middle is the all-time head-to-head record between the two teams. And then at the bottom is the other team, their season record, their tournament record, their coach's record, any type of win or losing streak that they're on, or any other notes that I want to add. Let me scroll up to the first game here. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. We're going to be looking at San Diego State versus Alabama to kick us off. I couldn't find the all-time head-to-head between the two teams. I don't know if this is their first time playing each other, or if I just couldn't find it for whatever reason. If you guys have something, put it in the comments below. Appreciate it. But let's start off here. I always start with the home team, but since it's a neutral court, I'll just say the bottom team. We'll start off with Alabama. I'll go over a few numbers for Alabama to win, and then I'll go over some numbers for San Diego State to win. So starting with Alabama, if Alabama's going to win this game will be on the second day of the 7th month for the Hebrew civil calendar, like 27. Alabama can get their 27th tournament win as a team. Doesn't have to get any more complicated than that. It's their 50th tournament game as a team on a day with 50 date numerology for the Gregorian, and they can get their 32nd win for the season. 32, if you write it out, sums to 50. The words Alabama Crimson Tide sums to 70. It is a day with 70 date numerology. But Alabama Crimson Tide also sums to 326. And if Alabama wins this game, they'll play in the Elite Eight, which is on Sunday, March 26th, written 3/26. If they do make it to Sunday, they have to watch out, though, because they'd be sitting on 32 wins and 5 losses. Which means that they'd be one loss away from becoming 32-6. Alabama Crimson Tide, 326. Sunday's game on 3/26. So if Alabama does make it to the Elite Eight, they better watch it on Sunday, because they could just become 32-6 for a season record to lose. This is the number 1 seed Alabama versus the number 5 seed San Diego State, kind of like 15. San Diego State can get their 15th tournament loss as a team, as their coach gets his 47th loss for his career, 47, the 15th prime number. San Diego State would become 8-15 for a tournament record with the loss, and as Alabama gets their 32nd win for the season. 32, if you write it out, sums to 158. Which is just an anagram of 815. And that's about what I would put for Alabama. San Diego State, if they were going to win this game, it will be a day with 149 date numerology on the Hebrew civil side of the calendar. San Diego State could become 9-14 for a tournament record with a win, as their coach gets his 149th win for his career, 149, 914, 149. These are all just anagrams and similar to each other. It is a day with 70 date numerology on the Gregorian. San Diego State can get their 7th win in a row. If you write out the number 7, it sums to 70. and get their 7th win in a row on a day with 70 date numerology. It's a day with 50 date numerology on the Gregorian. If you write out 50, it sums to 30. San Diego State can get that 30th win for the season to knock out Alabama. Alabama would get their 24th tournament loss to go with 50 written out sums to 30 and 24, but also 24 sums to 50. So some interesting numbers for this game. Hopefully that helps. Let's go on to the next one, Miami versus Houston. Miami versus Houston, starting with the team on the bottom, and then we'll go over some numbers for the team on top. Houston Cougars are interesting to me because their name, Houston Cougars, written out sums to 182. The Final Four will be hosted in Houston, same place where the Houston Astros this last year won the World Series on the 218th day of the Hebrew with Framber Valdez starting pitcher, who sums to 218. So all my bias numbers. We'll see how far Houston goes. But Houston can get their 34th win for the season on a day with 34 date numerology for the Gregorian. This also is the 1 seed versus the 5 seed, kind of like 15 and or 51. Houston coach can get his 233rd win as a coach for Houston, the 51st prime number. The 5 seed versus the 1 seed, as Miami sits on 5 all-time head-to-head wins against Houston with a loss. It is a day with 149 date numerology on the Hebrew civil side of the calendar. Miami coach can get his 149th loss for his career as a coach for Miami. And if Alabama does go ahead and advance into Sunday's game, Sunday will be the 182nd day of the Hebrew civil calendar. Houston Cougars written 182. They are the Final Four championship hosts. Houston is. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Houston Cougars 182 playing on the 182nd day of the Hebrew civil. And that's about what I have for right now. I guess one more thing you can add is Houston can get their 39th tourney win as a team. 39 sums to 128, which is just an anagram of 182. And they can head into Sunday's game on the 182nd day of the Hebrew with 39 tourney wins. Let's go ahead and move it over to Miami. What do it take for Miami to win this game? Well, Miami could become 6-9, like 69. All-time head-to-head against Houston with the win. On Houston's side, they'd be 9-6, like 96, 69, 96. So just reflections of each other. As the Miami coach gets a 696th win regular season, or not regular season, but 696 win for his career. I should go ahead and mark that in a dark blue. Same numbers being used there. It is a day with 34 date numerology on the Gregorian. Instead of Houston getting their 34th win for the season, they could just become 33-4 for a season record with a loss, which kind of has a 34 look to it in some ways. They would get their 29th tournament loss as a team on a day with 50 date numerology for the Gregorian. If you write out 29, it comes to 50. Miami, they can get their 28th win for the season as they become 14-11 for a tournament record with a win. 14-11 as they get that 28th win for the season. If you write out the number 28, 28 sums to 141. And that 14-11 kind of looks like a 141. On top of that, 28 sums to 51. And this is the number 5 seed versus the number 1 seed, like 51. I'll go ahead and mark that 28 in a light blue to remind myself. And so that's kind of the gist of it for this game right here. Making good time, making good progress. Let's keep it moving.
Sorry to interrupt this video, you guys, but I need a huge favor from you. Can you go ahead and like this video and leave a comment below on who you think's going to win? It's going to help with the YouTube algorithm. It's going to help grow my channel. I really appreciate you guys being here. Let's go ahead and get back into the video.
Creighton versus Princeton. Creighton versus Princeton. My thing doesn't show me if I'm recording or not. It says that I'm recording. Okay. Anyway, Princeton versus Creighton. Start with the team on the bottom, Creighton. Then we'll go over some numbers for Princeton. So for Creighton to win this game, they can go ahead and get their 24th win for the season as they sit on 24 tourney losses as a team with the win. Today with 50 date numerology on the Gregorian, 50 written out sums to 24. But 24 also sums to 50. This will be Creighton's coach's 449th game as a coach for Creighton, and he can get his 449th win for his career overall. He would sit on 149 losses as a coach for Creighton with a win on a day with 149 date numerology for the Hebrew Civil, but he would pick up his 300th win as a coach for Creighton. 300, mathematically speaking, is the 24th triangular number, and it would go right along with them sitting on 24 tourney losses with a win, as well as Creighton getting that 24th win for the season to go with. Now, with today having 50 date numerology and 50 summoned to 24, it also sums to 30. And Princeton can go ahead and get their 30th loss for the season, or excuse me, their 30th tournament loss as a team to end their season. Princeton would become 23-9 for a season record with a loss, which is the 52nd prime number. I didn't know anything that connected with it. 50, 52. Nothing jumped out at me for a connection, but it is there, the 52nd prime. So if you guys can think of a 52 connection for that, that might be it. But Princeton is the current number 15 seed. They can go ahead and just continue to sit on 15 tourney wins with a loss to end their season. Let's go ahead and switch gears. I think the reason why Princeton Tigers has made it this far is because their name, Princeton Tigers, sums to 84. This is the 84th NCAA tournament. And if Princeton go ahead and win this game, the next game would be on Sunday, which would be the March 26th, which looks like a 326. And Princeton coach, this will be his 325th game, but if they win, he'd be coaching his 326th game on March 26th, written 3/26. So that might be a little future look ahead for them. Similar to Creighton getting their 24th win, Princeton could go ahead and get their 24th win instead on a day with 50 date numerology. 50 sums to 24, 24 sums to 50. This could be a revenge narrative for Princeton. They can even the score 1-1 head-to-head against Creighton with the win as they get their 7th win in a row. 7, if you write it out, comes to 70. It being a day with 70 date numerology on the Gregorian. And looking ahead here, I'm not seeing anything that kind of jumps out at me. Yeah. I just didn't see a whole lot for Princeton in general. Just really the 24, the coach potentially being able to coach his 326 all time on Sunday if they make it. Princeton Tigers equals 84. It being the 84th tourney, 84th tourney event. Well, I guess we can say Creighton, they can get their 25th tournament loss. Their 25th tournament loss, that also sums to 50. 50 date numerology on the Gregorian. 25. Oops. 25 sums to 50. And 2313. I don't think that's has any number properties. Yeah, no number properties. Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot for Princeton. That might be it. I mean, if you guys have a little bit more for Princeton, go ahead and add it in the comments below. I know a few of you out there, I think, are rooting for Princeton. I mean, it is the 15 seed versus the number 6 seed, but the thing is I don't see any connection to that 156. You know, because 33 sums to 156, and 28 sums to 156. But I'm not seeing a 33 or a 28 for either side here. I know if you write out Sweet 16, it sums to 156. That's probably why they're playing each other, the 15 seed versus the 6 seed. But it doesn't really give me a potential side to pick. Oh, I could just say 16. Princeton gets their 16th tournament win as a team in the Sweet 16. If you actually write out 16, it does sum to 33. And then you can go the long form and say 33, then sums to 156. You can do something like that. We'll go ahead and mark this. I'm going to mark this in a bright yellow just to show that it's the event. This is the Sweet 16 round. They can get their 16th tournament win as a team, and the 84th NCAA tournament. Princeton Tigers sums to 84. That's probably what I would just go ahead and look at for that game. Moving on to the last game here, Xavier versus Texas. Starting with the team on the bottom, Texas has a potential to go all the way to the championship off of their name Gematria. Whether it happened or not, we'll find out. But Texas Longhorns sums to 187 and 191. Mathematically speaking, 191 is the 43rd prime number. And if Texas wins all the way through till the championship, their coach, he can get his 185th win for his career in this game. Then he can get his 186th win for his career in the Elite Eight. Then he can get his 187th all-time career win in the Final Four, which would then place the Texans Longhorns, which sums to 187 and 191, in the championship game on April 3rd, written 4/3, 191, the 43rd prime number. That could map it out for Texas Longhorns right there. If name Gematria is going to be important for the Texas Longhorns, that would be it. 187 and 191. 191 is the 43rd prime number. The championship game will be played on April 3rd, written 4/3. And the coach would be coming into that game with 187 career wins. They can get their 185th here against Xavier. They can get their 100. He can get his 186th on Sunday in the Elite Eight. Then he can get his 187th in the Final Four. Texas Longhorns 187, 191 to play then to play the championship game on April 3rd, written 4/3. So if Texas Longhorns are going to go the distance, this is going to be why. Now, coming back to this game here, Texas could go ahead and get their 29th win for the season on a day with 50 date numerology. 29 sums to 50. They would also get their 7th win in a row on a day with 70 date numerology. 7 sums to 70. And then Xavier, they would get their 29th tournament loss as Texas get their 29th win for the season. 29 sums to 50. 29 is also the 10th prime number, and Xavier would get their 10th loss for the season as they get their 29th tournament loss. They would actually become 30 and 29 for a tournament record with the loss on a day with 50 date numerology. 50 sums to 30. 29 sums to 50. And that's about what I would put for Texas. So if Texas does win this game, look for them to go the distance all the way to the championship. There is a decent narrative here with their name Gematria, that 187 and that 191. 191, the 43rd prime number. Championship game being played on April 3rd, 4/3, like 43. And their coach would be going into that game with 187 wins for his career all time. However, if Xavier wants to spoil that fun, we can go ahead and say that Xavier is the number 3 seed. This is the 6th all-time head-to-head matchup between these two teams. Texas would end their 6-game winning streak as Xavier becomes 3-3 head-to-head against Texas all-time with a win. It is a day with 34 date numerology on the Gregorian. If you write out 34, it sums to 56. Xavier coach can sit on 56 losses as a coach for Xavier with a win. Let's look over here on Sunday. Texas coach, he can become 21-8 for a record as a coach for Texas with a loss. 21-8 or 218 is my bias number, like 218, 182, 128. I talk about it briefly with Houston Cougars, some into 182. They can potentially play on Sunday, the 182nd day of the Hebrew Civil. So Texas coach could just be that 21-8 with the loss. Doesn't have to get any more complicated than that, I suppose. But with Friday having 34 date numerology on the Gregorian, 34 mathematically is the 9th Fibonacci number. And Xavier can sit on 9 losses for the season with a win as Texas gets their 9th loss for the season to end their season. What else? Xavier, they would get their 28th win for the season as they sit on 28 tourney losses with a win. A little 28 sandwich squeeze there, as I call it. Where they squeeze those numbers to get the 28th win, sit on 28. And I don't really see anything else for Xavier, really. Actually, you know what? This is their 59th tournament game for Xavier. 59 mathematically is the 17th prime number, and they could become 28-9 for a season record with the win. If I'm thinking of it correctly, 28-9, yeah, has a square root of 17. So to re-say that again, Xavier's 59th tournament game as a team, the 17th prime number, Xavier could become 28-9 for a season record with the win. Texas would become 28-9 for a season record with the loss. 289 has a square root of 17. And in a nutshell, that's about what I would put for these games. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this gives you insight to these games. As to decode, get you started on a decode. I know I kind of breezed through them pretty quickly. I just don't like to make too long of videos for you guys. I just like to keep it short and sweet to the point. Hopefully this helps. If you guys have anything to add, put it in the comments below. I appreciate it. I wish you guys the best of luck on all your picks. Hopefully you win all the money in the world. And I'll see you guys in the next video.